Welcome to yet another video in this series. Today is the 1st of June. Let us all have a good start to the month. And as the video title goes, this video is an overview of how a company that began in a garage is now the world's second most valuable company, or the world's most valuable tech company for that matter. Let us begin. Apple had its genesis, the lifelong dream of Stephen G. Wozniak, a dream that was made feasible with the advent of the first commercially successful microcomputer in 1975. Encouraged by his friends, Stephen G. Wozniak wanted to build his own personal microcomputer. But the company that he was working for, Hewlett Packard Company, showed no interest in his design. And this did not deter him from going towards his aims. Wozniak, along with his high school classmate, Steve Jobs, started production in their own garage. And this is where it gets interesting. This is where it all began. Wozniak and Steve Jobs moved production operations to Steve Jobs' house, or Steve Jobs' garage behind the house. And for initial working capital, Steve Jobs sold his Volkswagen minibus and Wozniak sold his programmable computer. That's how the first working capital of Apple came in. A Volkswagen minibus and a programmable calculator. And they came up with the first microcomputer. It was nothing but a working circuit board. Nothing fancy about that. Then came the next set of computer that had colorful displays, and this is the first computer, or the first microcomputer, which had colorful displays and an interactive software that appealed to the average person. But Steve Jobs knew that this wouldn't lead his small team, or his team of two, to success. For a company to grow, it requires substantial funding and good management. That is where Steve Jobs thought beyond and convinced his investors to invest into Apple. And with investments coming in from all sides, Apple now started soaring to success. Apple released the second generation of computer called Apple II. This time, as said earlier, with a better display, a colorful display, with a better software, and Apple established itself as a computers that could run the educational institutions out there. And this brought Apple immense profit, and in the 90s, Apple's profit ran at a historic rate. Apple was going good, everything was going good, but Apple had a strict competitor. The competitor was none other than, all of us know it, IBM. IBM computers provided strict competition to Apple each time they released their own software. IBM came up with their own computer with a software called DOS. And this idea of DOS went well with all the manufacturers out there, because this software can be released on any other computer. But Apple stayed strict and did not have DOS, or did not have the software called DOS in their own computer. Instead, Apple worked towards it, stood by their decision, and brought in the first most interactive GUI called the Macintosh. The interactive computers that we see today, even to the development of the mouse cursor that we see today, is all thanks to Macintosh. Yes, Macintosh brought in an effective GUI to appeal to people. And now that Apple has a very effective computer and a dashing GUI, it still didn't meet the expectations of sales of the members in Apple. Though it was good with the amateur computer users out there, Apple did not meet the sales expectation, which is why Steve Jobs was ousted. The then CEO of Apple then just ousted Steve Jobs. And this is where the downfall of Apple began. From the 90s to 1997 is where Apple slowly disregarded as a company. But Jobs later returned. The return of Steve Jobs is where Apple started blooming once again. And that is where the history started to begin. That is where Steve Jobs established Apple as the most valuable company. And the return of Steve Jobs, I think, is a matter of another video. So stay tuned for part 2. I'll join you soon. Thank you.